Hey, this is Embodied Playgirl, aka Ebony, coming at you with another video. And the question of today is, where are you punishing yourself? Before you scroll, just wait just a minute. I want to let you know that adultified and parentified children end up growing up to self manage themselves very well. They grow up auditing and editing themselves very well, so it could look like they're in good spirits and they're easy to take care of themselves when in reality they are suffering. I don't know if you're like me, but growing up a well mannered child just trumped everything. And nobody would really ask that child what they were going through. They wouldn't ask them if anything was hurting them, if anyone was hurting them, because they were so used to this kid really having their act together. And that's the key word, act. Kids who are parentified and adultified learn how to act very early on. They audit the way that things are around them, and then they edit the way that they actually are to match what it looks like everyone outside of them prefers to see. Now, if you were a parentified or even adultified child, you likely struggle with pleasure, expression, and you might have found creativity later on in life, or maybe you haven't found it at all because there's something about it that etches that part out. It makes us quiet in our enjoyment because we learned that being too joyous or too rambunctious or too expressive was something to be frowned upon. Maybe this isn't everyone's reality, but I do think it's a lot of people's reality. Adultified kids rarely need punishment in the eyes of adults, not because they're well behaved, but because they punish themselves before an adult has to. And this doesn't end in childhood. So there's things that, like, kids who have been the type to grow up fast, or they seem like they're very mature and like they understand a lot of times they have learned to audit and edit themselves through self-punishment. If they do something that um, is not deemed appropriate by adults, a lot of times parents, even parents who agree in giving spankings, they will feel uncomfortable even wanting to spank that kid because they can just see on that child's face just how down they feel about what they did. And in some cases, people will think that's a good thing. But in reality, kids are meant to be expressive and they're meant to get in trouble and do things. And so if your child looks so downtrodden by life because of something that they did, there may be an instance where you want to ask them, how exactly are they internalizing whenever they make mistakes? So, a few ways that kids may punish themselves, as kids and then grow up to be adults is they may pick at their skin until there's sores. They may hold their breath. They may allow others to cross their boundaries in situations that may put them in danger. They may push themselves into exhaustion in academics and in athletics. They may speak negative talk internally. The result is a completely docile child that comes off as mature for their age, when in reality, they are suffering. And again, the worst part about this is that it does not end in childhood. These behaviors are taken throughout childhood into adulthood. Because if your child has not gotten any type of therapy, or you haven't gotten any type of therapy, this is how you have learned to cope with life. You've learned that it's easier whenever you pull back and restrain. You've learned that it's easier when you decide to punish yourself, because maybe the people who do the punishing, maybe it was very extreme, so you decided to do it yourself, or maybe you just wanted to be, or maybe it was the beginning stages of people pleasing when you said, I don't want that parent, I don't want that guardian to look at me like I'm a bad child. So I'm going to internalize that so that they don't feel the need to punish me because I want to be seen as the good child to that parent or guardian. So unfortunately, these things don't just stop in childhood. These things carry on to adulthood. Many of these kids grow up to be successful adults because of their discipline, but a steady fire is burning inside, wishing it could be let out. So they find new ways to punish themselves. Let me tell you a few ways that they find to punish themselves. And these are just, all of this is stuff that I've observed. It is not in any articles that I know of. It may be, I'm sure it is, but a lot of this stuff is just stuff that I've observed and I've written down. So they may work out into exhaustion where, they are not even taking care of themselves in between workouts. They are just running further, they're lifting heavier, they're just going harder and harder and harder, and they're not doing anything for themselves in between. They may not even be stretching really. They may not be doing any type of foam rolling exercises or taking care of themselves. It's something about the pain that comes from the workout that is a part of the reward system in the self punishment cycle. They may also over or under eat. They may still allow people in their lives who mistreat them. So you'll see this with people who end up choosing abusers to date, or people who just like talk to them badly or talk down to them or just very sarcastic with them in a nasty way, and they don't see the problem. The reason they don't see the problem is because that person has taken on a role that now they don't really have to as much. Instead of them having to beat themselves up, they've offloaded that responsibility onto someone else who doesn't mind doing it. And they may even do other things like still picking at their skin and still having negative self-talk. If you are a person experiencing something like this, I suggest that you go and get some type of therapy. Matter of fact, if you've noticed that you haven't been doing that for a while, and then suddenly you start doing it again, like picking at your skin or something, you usually don't do it, but now you're doing it, that should be a telltale sign. I know some of these self punishing ways can kind of go unnoticed because it's kind of like a mindless activity that we do, but it's something that you need to pay attention to. You need to become the observer and actually watch yourself and see what exactly you're doing. Get some type of therapy or some type of help. And the people who like really go unnoticed is the people who are super successful, the people who have ran themselves down into the ground and worked 12, 14-hour shifts for their company as a way of self punishment, but also reward because you get prestige from working so hard. Wow, she's doing so much. Or the person who's always in the gym, wow, they look so fit, they look so good. So it's much harder to identify. But if you know it within yourself that something is not right here, something about how I go about this thing that is good is not good, then you should go and get some type of therapy. I don't have any sponsorships on this channel, but I have heard of things like Better Health and other services where you can actually go and find someone. And if you're looking for someone in your area, again, I don't have sponsorships, but people like ZocDoc, you can find doctors in your area who actually take care of things like mental health and psychiatry if you're on some type of medication. But get yourself some help. There is nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing. So this behavior follows us throughout life. So I'm asking you today to ask yourself, where am I punishing myself? Now, when I ask you this question, I want you to know that this is not something that you have to have an immediate answer to, because sometimes there is no immediate answer. Or once again, these are mindless behaviors. So it's stuff that you're doing when you don't even notice that you're doing. So once again, I'm asking that you sit with yourself and take the role of the observer and actually watch yourself. It's not something I want you to answer right now, but it's something I hope you take with you and let marinate on you or in you for today. Be the observer. Watch yourself in the interactions and even the mindless behaviors. When you get the chance, maybe later on tonight or tomorrow or whenever you're watching this video, if you have a moment, I want you to journal or do a voice note, and I want you to journal on how you feel about punishments that you may give yourself. If you know exactly which one it is, go ahead and talk about it. Talk about when it first started, when you first noticed yourself doing it. And if you don't know what it is just yet, just write to the fact that you know that something is off in you and you've been looking to kind of express it in a sense, but you feel yourself being held back. Well, write about how that feels or speak about how that feels and how you're working towards getting that released outside of your body. Because the more that we do things somatically, the more that it actually gets a chance to have a healthy way of exiting the body through the nervous system. But most importantly, hug and love on yourself throughout this process, especially if it's your first time actually asking yourself, where am I punishing myself? This is not something that I'm asking so that you can see that you're a bad person. This is something that you're asking yourself so that you can show a little extra love to yourself and actually help yourself to have a more fulfilling life. You deserve to be able to work out and to eat and to succeed and accomplish and do all the things without them being inherently bad because of the way that you're going about them. There's a healthy way to do most things. So, again, I hope that this helped you. I hope that it touches you in your spirit and it's something that actually like really works on you throughout the day. And as always, please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things to support a brand new channel. And I love you. You are doing great. Let it work on you. Be calm, be focused. And if it feels like too much, contact someone to speak about it.